Welcome to the Massage Tools Podcast, your home for cool interviews and reviews. With how you've seen the field change since you got into it in the early 80s, what is maybe a piece of advice, like having seen it change, that you would give to a new student or someone new in the field, pulling on your vast experience?
I would say don't be like I was when I first got out of massage school. Um, after I did my 100 hours in 1976 and didn't really do much with it, just kind of played around. Then in 1981, I did my 120 hours of training, right? And my girlfriend at the time, who I went to massage school, went to ISFI with, she was going to take the next level of training, which was another 150 hours. And I was like, what else can they teach me? You know, there's only so many ways you could do massage. And then somebody somebody asked me about the scalene muscles, and I went, never heard of them. What are those? Because in the 120, they had a certain number of sort of more superficial big muscles that we learned. So then I finally went, oh, maybe there's more for me to learn here. So my advice to a new student, to a grad, is like, your diploma is your learner's permit. Like when you learn how to drive, you have a learner's permit now. Don't think that don't stop learning. You just got to keep learning. And so that would be my main advice to somebody.
Okay. That is a perfect segue into some of my other Hallmark questions.
Oh, questions.
Hallmark questions, yeah. What are
Yeah.
some continuing education avenues that you have found that have been really beneficial? And I sometimes feel weird asking people who've been in the field a long time, but on the flip
Yeah.
side, because in your case, like, you have materials that you provide people. Like, I found some stuff and then I created materials for other people to learn. But if
Yeah.
there've been things that stand out that are still, I guess, accessible to massage therapists, because there's, unfortunately, when talk to people who've been in the field a long time, they're like, oh, it would have been great to study with so and so, but they passed away. And then,
Yeah.
oh, this person, oh no, they passed away. So,
Yeah.
I guess anybody who's still accessible, that you like, make sure you take a class with so and so.
Well, I do have to give a shout out to the late Bob King. Unfortunately, he was one of the co-founders of the Chicago Massage School. He was a consummate continuing education instructor, not only with the material that he taught, but I learned so much from emulating the way he taught. So unfortunately, he's passed away. So, some of your other guests have named some of the same people I'm going to name. I've taken a number of classes with Whitney Love, who I highly recommend. James Wazowski, um, uh, Tom Myers, uh, who's famous for now anatomy trains. I studied with him many, many times over the years, not lately. Um, Recently, I was able to take an online dissection course with Gil Headley. Do you know Gil? You know of Gil?
I know of Gil. I've seen a couple of his videos. He was just on the Thinking Practitioner, which is Whitney Lowe
Whitney
and
and Till Lukow.
Till Lukow. Yeah,
Also,
they're
Till Lukow, great instructor.
okay.
I've taken in-person classes with Till, as well as some of his online stuff. His online offerings are awesome. Many of them are free. Uh,
Okay.
so uh, so the Gil Headley class, I have the good fortune to live in a town where we have an anatomy dissection lab right here in town, founded by a couple of massage therapists. And Gil has been coming out here to do these courses. So I want to give a shout out to the Institute for Anatomical Research,
Okay.
because they are a small, very professional anatomy lab where their goal is to train people by having them be in the presence of cadavers, dissected cadavers. So Gil's class was awesome. It was he had a group at the lab with him for about a week, starting from with a cadaver, starting from working all the way through the cadaver. And the online portion of the course was a couple hours every day that they would put together for that. That was an awesome course. And I've been in that lab many times, and I highly recommend for anyone who's interested in doing body work at any level to try to find a class to go to where you can be in the presence of a cadaver and see in 3 dimensions what these muscles look like that we normally just see. Even in a video, it's not the same as being right next to that cadaver. The other person I would recommend studying with is Joe Muscolino. Are you familiar with Joe?
Yeah, I have his anatomy coloring book.
Okay, well, he's
yeah, I know of him. Yes.
I mean, Joe's written, I don't know, 8, 10, 12 books, but he's also been out here to this lab. His project in the last 2 years has been to cover every muscle in the body on the cadaver, and he posts a video, new video to his Instagram feed almost every day.
Okay.
So he's an awesome person to follow. Yeah. So those are my main guys, I guess. And,
okay.
Yeah. Oh, all guys too. Let me think. No. Let me think. I started a list.
Well, it's interesting because a few of the people you've named have all been students or were potentially students of Ida Rolf. So, like Myers is famously a Rolf student. Whitney and Till, I both believe trained out of at least the Rolf Institute, and then Gil on the Thinking Practitioner was talking about he was going to go to the Rolfing Institute and decided not to. I feel bad I can't remember the story as accurately as I'd like to recall it, but it's like Rolf is probably one of the most influential body workers that comes to my mind, at least. Sometimes when people are trying to think of, like, oh, I know this guy, I know this, I need a female practitioner. Rolf has trained most of the folks I tend to follow, so she's
true. That's you're right. She was a seminal figure in the resurgence of the massage and body work. Absolutely. And like we were talking about, the IFSB group included a master walker as one of the founders, and a lot of the bodywork protocol in the IFSB training is based on the Rolf method. Yeah. So yeah.
Great. Those are wonderful. I'm fortunate to be familiar with all those names. Are there continuing education, whether it's courses, just academics in general, that aren't in the massage field that have been very beneficial to your practice? So I would consider a dissection or cadaver lab. Really, that should be fundamental massage training, but I still put that in a massage box. But there are trainings that outside of it that have helped fill in either ideas, or it could be even things like client communication or soft skills that you have found that are beneficial.
I have found that my limited training in psychology, I mean, bachelor's degree it's just scratching the surface. But I have I did go on to be a bartender for a while, and where my counseling skills came in handy, and that certainly has been helpful in working with clients as well. The other avenue that I have pursued in my over the last 20 years or so has been more fitness oriented, personal training. I was a certified ACE personal trainer for a while. I've been a certified strength and conditioning specialist through the NSCA for 20 something years. And so I've been able to have the pleasure of attending courses with some of the important folks in that arena. There's a guy by the name of Lauren Landau. He has a clinic in Denver called Landau Performance. He's currently actually head strength and conditioning coach for the Denver Broncos. But he is an excellent instructor. He's able to look at movement. He's really good at teaching. He has a saying that goes something like this. It's one thing to train to do an activity from the perfect position, but what happens when you're not in the perfect position and you have to do something? So his emphasis is on learning how to cut and turn and decelerate from awkward positions. So if you think about football players trying to catch a football or make a move to be able to catch a football, they're often in weird positions. And if you want to prevent injury, you have to train to overcome those obstacles. So that's been very helpful for me in sort of. I never worked as a personal trainer. I'm not a strength and conditioning coach, but it gives me a good sort of entry into that arena of movement for athletes and helping my athletes who might have questions about how to do something. So I think that's where I started to learn about the importance of eccentric work, because decelerating emotion is probably more important than making emotion go faster, because we know that it's the eccentric strain on muscle tissue that creates more injury than concentric strain. So that really came into my field of thought through these trainings in the fitness world. So then there's a guy by the name of Chad Landers in LA who's I've taken some courses with through the NSCA. Robert Linkle up in Sacramento, he focuses on training older athletes. Now that I'm an older athlete, it's important for me. Rocky Snyder in California, he's just published a book that I really enjoy. It's called Return to Center, and his focus is on starting with the feet and working your way. So these are all things that, just help to round me out as a sports practitioner because these are important for us to know. These kinds of things are important for us to know if we're going to be working with people who move.
Okay, yeah, those are great resources. And yeah, it's a direction I've about 2 months ago acquired my personal training certification, even though I've been teaching some fitness classes for a while, but that element of teaching has been nice because it picks up some of my faster cueing, which helps on the table, and then vice versa. And then it's enjoyable, but it's a different way to view the body in motion, and it's an appreciation that honestly I've had in the 26 years I've been in martial arts. I've been watching movement, but now it's the last 10 years of being a massage therapist. It's all right, how can we influence movement in a different sense, in a medicinal sense? But
in a medicinal sense, yes. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, folks. The mission of Massage Tools Podcast is to inspire. So help us inspire you. Ask questions, leave suggestions in the comments section. Give us a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you want to see more content, please click that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and hey, check out these links for other videos here.